going to move straight into our second session. We warned you that there won't be a drink, and this is really going to be a, like we said in our letters to you, it's an explosive, incendiary conversation, as all conversations on literature and art should be, because Charu Nivedita is that epitome of what a writer in a society should be. He's transgressive, he challenges notions, both about form and content, and he has really rocked the society from which in which he is situated. Charu writes in Tamil, but his books have been translated by a publisher called The Blaft. And I would urge all of you to read it, because his books, Zero Degree, actually the first book itself will sum up for you what Charu Nivedita is all about, because it's called Existentialism, Fancy, yeah, I don't know why I'm finding it such a tongue twister, Existentialism, okay, I'm going to say this again. Existentialism, okay. Existentialism, no.
Existentialism and T-shirt.
Fancy Bunny-yum.
Fancy bunny.
Yeah, and I'm going to ask him why he would call his first book a name like that, you know, which absolutely makes a moderator fall on her feet even before the conversations begun. But really, Charu has been compared to all the greats in Latin America, you know, the French existentialists. He draws his inspiration very fascinatingly from two such diverse people as Marquis de Sade and Andal, who was one of the first, the only women saint out of 12 saints in South India. And we're going to be talking to him about that as well. But the form of his writing really moves from newspaper reports, poetry, the fiction, to autofiction, covers sexuality, violence, everything that you don't hear in polite conversation in Delhi. So ladies and gentlemen, to understand the world of Charu Nivedita and why he is so crucial for us to have in our literary firmament, please welcome him on stage today.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Charu, since you almost drowned me with the name of that book, you know, I kept saying it on my tongue all the way driving here, saying that I'm not going to get it wrong, so I can't believe I got it that wrong. Share with the audience, you know, that why would you name a book like that? What is the meaning of that title? And also in that book, there's a writer who actually, you know, there's the protagonist finds peace only when he starts to write. You know, his bitterness, his disillusion, all of it falls away when he writes. It seems to be a kind of autobiographical thing, but you've also written that in your writing, your autobiography is a little moved, you know, is a little different from your actual real life. So what do you mean by that? Let's start with the book title. Why would you call a book that?
Before going into the title of Existentialism and Fancy Bunyan, I want to tell you something about, you know, it will be easier for you and me to proceed another 45 minutes. First, when Ritu called me and invited for this Algebra, I said, immediately I accepted, and then I searched in the internet and saw very big names and very, you know, Farhan Akhtar, Kailash Kher, and oh my God, both Dargaya. So scared. I am an unknown writer writing in a corner of the country, and my mode of expression is writing and not speech. How can I communicate with the friends who don't know me really, who don't know my writing, who are not familiar with my writing, because I write in Tamil. Now it is available in English translation. And moreover, the language barrier. If I know English, I could write in English. The thing is, I came from a very, you know, a lumpen area. There is a slum full of my own sister has eloped with a guy at the age of 14, and he has sold her in a brothel. And we took her out from the brothel, and again she eloped with some other guy. So my father was a teacher. We lived in a slum, and I studied in a municipal school um, in Tamil medium. I am a school dropout. I struggled to pass the school final for 3 years and finally passed out. Without knowing English, and so after my sister got into that prostitution, we had to shift our house because teacher's job, though we lived in a slum, teacher's job is, respectable. So we shifted to another town. So it goes on like this. So I was thinking, what and how do I communicate? I asked my friend, I want to write in English. I want to learn English. Then he said, he advised me, you practice speaking in English. At least I want to promote my product, which is in English. I don't have any literary agent or anyone. And my publisher is a new one to this field. So I asked my friend, years back, some 5 years back, he said, you start practicing speaking in English. So I started speaking English, but there is a lot of, tension, and I told him I feel shy. Then he said, he advised me, you take whiskey and then the block, the shyness will go away. So I started taking whiskey. Whenever I wanted to speak in English, I drink.
Pumped yourself today. You're speaking so well, Charu.
The inhibition goes away. So one day we were traveling in a train around 9 p.m. I said, oh, I want to speak in English. So he said, no, in train you cannot. It's not allowed. Whiskey is not allowed here. No, we are good citizens of India.
Can we have some whiskey on the stage?
No, I stopped drinking. I take only red wine.
You've really become part of the French elite now, Charu.
So we are good citizens of India. That rule is for rogues and troubleshooters. We are, So he had a whiskey bottle, and in a corner near toilet, we started drinking. That time the TTR intervened and objected. He said, I asked him, sir, you can also join. It's a very good whiskey. We are not, troubleshooters. We are very decent people, good citizens of India. He said, I am also a very responsible officer of the Railway Department of Government of India, and you, no, this is very wrong. No, sir, this is a foreign brand. So you also responsible officer of the Railway Department of Government of India, and we are also very responsible citizens. So we all three can, so say, okay, yes. We took drinks, and after that, here comes the thing. After 4 pegs, I always drink 8 pegs at least. That day, my friend told me, advised me, no, 4 pegs is enough. So I went to my section of the compartment. Someone is sleeping in my bed. I asked him, sir, what's your date of birth? He was so much puzzled, and don't know. He was, he didn't say anything. He was totally puzzled. I asked, sir, because sir is small respect. Sir in Tamil Nadu is, great respect. What is your date of birth, sir? He said, he got his shock of his life. And my husband, my friend came to rescue me or rescue us. Sir, he is asking your birth number. So at that moment, so this kind of, so at that time I came to know that there is a slight, there are 2 different entities, birth and birth. So For an hour, for 45 minutes, you have to differentiate between birth and birth in me, in my English. So the existentialism, I studied, though I didn't study in school, I studied a lot in the libraries. I was working in Delhi. Delhi is like my hometown. Mandi House is my alma mater, the auditoriums and libraries. I was here working in Delhi administration civil supplies, giving ration cards to the Juggi Jopri people. I was a stenographer there from 1978 to 1990. If you want to know about 80s Delhi life, I wrote it in my novel, Delhi Diaries. It is in Marginal Man. The title is Delhi Diaries, 100 pages. Very lovable Delhi those days. Now it has become a metropolitan. Okay, coming to existentialism, and I
Because
go
that was the
here
first
and
book.
there, very
But why I'm letting Charu go from here to there is because it's fascinating that the books are like that. I mean, if you pick up Marginal Man, which is the one that I've read, it's because it'll move from vignettes about dogs and street dogs to prostitutes to ruminations about Jean Genet to, it's just like being part of the landscape of his mind, literally. And one of the things that Charu says is that the reason he writes is to put his schizoid state of mind into words, and really the books are the most disruptive, disjunctive, and illuminating thing that you can come across. So,
yeah,
but
schizoid,
that first
someone
book
asked me, what are you going to speak? My God, there is this blankness. I write in a schizoid state of mind. I transfer the moments of that schizoid state into art. Now I am an ordinary man. If you ask me anything, I have to go to that schizoid state. I have to put on the switch. So I couldn't say anything. I told him I have to ask Shoma about this questions and all that. Okay, again, if you ask me what's your name, I will talk about existentialism. Okay, Sartre said once, in front of a dying child out of hunger, my existentialism has no value. In his later period, Jean-Paul Sartre, French philosopher. The earlier Sartre was existentialist, and the later Sartre was Maoist. So in my first novel, The Existentialism and Fancy Bunyan, I wanted to mock at the Sartre, the earlier Sartre. You talk of isms, so many isms, existentialism, and so many isms, essentialism. Existentialism is nothing. To exist the moment intensely. To exist this moment intensely, very intensely. I may die at the next moment, but this moment, this is existentialism. But that's all. This is the first novel.
So, Charu, I'm going to come back to your books, but because the audience hasn't really read your books, I don't want to go too much into the detail of it, more to give them a taste of your political and your social landscape. Most of Charu's books don't go down well in Tamil Nadu. Perumal said that he was going to stop writing and that he had basically died because his books were, there was such hostile reception for his books. There is a kind of invisible ban of Charu's books as well in Tamil Nadu. So, Charu, I wanted to ask you that, will you share with the audience that why are your books like dynamite? Why are they like bombs for Tamil society? What does it do which makes them so uncomfortable? And why is Tamil society like that when it is actually a highly educated society? The Dravidian movement has happened. There's been a lot of caste churning. Why then is it still a society that is not progressive enough to accept a writing like yours? So give them a taste of your world. Why is your writing so difficult for Tamil Nadu to accept?
Very interesting question, Shoma. Very interesting question. There is a German director, Wottinger. She has made a film called Taiga, Taiga. Taiga is a place in Mongolia. She lived there for 3 years, learnt Mongolian language, and she filmed a 9-hour documentary film called Taiga. The Wattinger, before started her filmmaking, before being a filmmaker, she was a photographer in her early period. I still remember a photograph. She took it in Europe. In one picture, there is a Sikh gentleman, and the other side, there is one Subramanyam. He must be a Subramanyam. I don't know his name, must be a Subramanyam. Subramanyam means, it's a symbol. It means conservative, rigidity. The beauty in the photograph is the Sardar is full of laughter. And this guy, Subramanyam, so this tells you the, two extreme. So when I came to Delhi in 1978, a Punjabi guy in civil supplies, it was in Underhill Road near IP College. A Punjabi guy came to me and said, "Kya hal hai ji?" in a Tamil accent. I learned all the cuss words in Hindi by that time. So he kept mum. So.
But Charu, you were answering why your work is so hard for...
Yes. Yeah, I forgot. Sorry. So, this conservative society, the Tamil society, I write about incest. I write about all the taboo subjects. In the whole of India, Tamil Nadu is the most conservative society. You cannot, it looks like a Taliban state. You cannot go with your girlfriend or even with your sister to Marina Beach. People will, stare at you. A film director told me that I have all your books, but I have daughters in my house. And in 6 months, she eloped with his driver. I thought he should have given the books to her. Huh? I need
you need some whiskey?
Red wine. Yeah.
Huh?
Red wine.
Red wine,
Yeah.
sorry.
So the taboo things, a lot of things coming into my mind.
I just wanted to give them a flavor of a little vignette in his book in 0 Degree. There's a protagonist there called Munyandi, who goes to a prostitute, and he's a writer. And he has a satchel in which his handwritten manuscript is there. And then he asks the prostitute that, have you ever read this, I forget which writer it was. He names a very...
Dostoevsky.
Okay, let's assume it. Have you read Dostoevsky? He asks the prostitute. She said, who? No, I haven't read. But she says, are you a writer? So he says, yes, I'm a writer. So she picks up her skirt and she goes and she says, you have a manuscript in that book, in that satchel? She picks up her sari and she goes and pisses on the satchel, And so the writer is so mortified. He says, but that's my only copy. That's all my handwritten copy, of my manuscript. But because she's pissed on it, he goes away with his satchel. And after that, everything that he writes, he has 18 copies of it, So that's just one of the very innocuous vignettes that you'll get from Charu's books. Of course, there's a lot of violence, there's a lot of rape, incest, everything. So is that reflective of Tamil society or your schizoid mind, Charu?
No. I am reflecting. I am writing their story only. In Tamil Nadu, till today, I have not met a woman who was not sexually abused by her relatives, cousins, brothers, own brothers. I have not yet met a single woman in my life in Tamil Nadu. Sexually abused by brothers, cousins, uncles. I write about this. So they feel that he is writing immoral. He must be an immoral fellow. See, I am writing their story.
Makes you an immoral man.
Immoral. Yeah. And often I take death threats, a lot of threats, phone calls and many things. And I am not accepted in their, in literary establishment. If you ask a Tamil guy if he reads literature, because in Tamil Nadu no one reads literary things, literature. Yeah. I always tell my friends that don't introduce me as a
But
writer.
they read pornography, and your writing is sometimes called pornography. So at least through that route, they should read you.
Oh my God, that is the main problem. You can write incest or any damn thing in a, what can I say, pure, in a polished manner, in a polished language. I write, sometimes in a porn language. See? So, everyone says that I write pornography. I have a lot of youth crowd, reader circle, and I release my books in a very big, massive. Once Tarun came to my book release function and he was awed. Hey, wow, what type? You look like a rock star. But all are below 30, below 30. Otherwise, I am branded as a porn writer there. This is the thing. Expression. I express it in a raw language. See, that is why even communists don't back me. They don't like me. They say that American decadent guy. When I was enacting a play, myself and my actors, everyone were attacked in Madurai. The play was stopped at the moment. Yeah.
So, Charu, I'm going to come back to the politics of Tamil Nadu and its political imagination in a little while. But before that, you spoke about your antecedents and the fact that you grew up in a slum in circumstances so disenfranchised that your sister entered prostitution. When you read your books, when anybody reads your books, it is such a vast and rich literary landscape. I mean, it can be actually like a signpost for a kind of literary course, through university. So how did that influence come into your life? How did you know, sitting in a slum without access to that kind of international literature, what was the influence? Was there somebody who entered your life? Was there a particular book? What triggered the writer in you?
Honestly speaking, I don't know the answer, but I can try to see myself or examine myself. I am a recluse. I talk to dogs, cats, and trees. I don't talk to human beings. Human beings bore me. I don't like them. I don't like to talk to human beings. They are because I like to talk to saints. I like to talk to beggars. I like to talk to people who don't have anything. I often go to Himalayas. Those who like money, I don't like. People like money much. People like power. They go after power. I don't like. I don't like the people who go after power, who go after money. I am a recluse.
But Charu, are you romanticizing that?
No,
Don't
no.
beggars also want money?
Very, very short, in a brief thing, I will come to the point. I am a recluse. I don't talk to anyone. So I have to read books, international literature. I am fed up with Indian literature. That is another point. Indian writers don't like me because I don't like them. Because they don't speak the Indian reality. Yeah, in my town, in my street, the sweeper gets a salary of 7,500 rupees, having 3 children. 7,500 rupees is his monthly salary for a sweeper. It must be the case here also. In US, a sweeper gets 50,000 bucks. The school teacher, elementary school teacher, and the sweeper get the same salary in US and in Europe, Western Europe. I like travel. I tell my friends that basically I'm a traveler. Writing is second thing. So I am so much ashamed of our country. Our country's state of, the people's lifestyle. So where did we?
So no, I had asked you how you entered the world of literature and writing, but
so I am always isolated. Don't talk to people. So
books
the
are your refuge.
Indian writing in English, that's the bakwas. Indian writing in English, most of the books. I don't see the Indian reality in their books.
Yeah.
I can tell you 1 or 2 examples, but
No, it's good. Have another sip of wine and name them.
Can I? Okay. It's not out of friendship. I don't bother about friendship. My first thing is writing. So if you write well, that's one thing. Even if you are friend, I will, you what man, you are
So
writing
name them.
trash.
No, name them, Charu.
Tarun Tejpal is for me, he's a good writer because you should see the story of my assassins. Fine, story of my assassins. In that, he has written my story. The lumpen, the other side of India, isn't it? You would have read.
Yes.
The Alchemy of Desire is a completely love story, but this story of my assassins, this anger, this angst, writer should feel about they are the mirror of the society. Everyone says you have to tell the story of India, Indian people. This is not India. This is part of India. Okay, we are the policy makers, the elites, but you have to tell the story. And in White Tiger, he has written that I can see the anger. He is spitting on the land, on the country, protagonist in White Tiger. But it's a very mediocre novel, very mediocre. I don't treat it as literature. So for me, Tarun, hats off for his anger. So if I think more, I can tell you more names. But generally speaking,
Just to make your sip of wine worthwhile, let's quickly run through Rushdie.
Yeah.
Good writer, bad writer. Salman Rushdie.
Salman
Just
Rushdie,
good writer, bad writer, because I'm going to run you into another topic now, Charu.
Overrated. He's not a bad writer, but overrated.
Overrated. Okay. Vikram
And
Seth.
one more name I will tell you. And Arundhati Rai is also overrated, and she is a very bad writer. My God. Very bad writer. And we always need a hero in literature. That's why the North and the literary world all over the world, they also need a hero from marginal sector. That's why they are, they have taken a name like Perumal Murugan. He is writing trash.
Who?
Perumal Murugan is writing
Acha,
trash.
Perumal Murugan.
In Tamil Nadu, he is writing trash.
Okay, so Charu, you were talking about what I found very interesting in the shaping of your imagination. Even on your own website, you have chosen Maki de Sade as one end of the influence on your life, and on the other is Andal, who, as I said, is a woman saint. So how do you put someone from whose work the whole idea of sadomasochism comes, and on the other hand, you have this woman saint? Can you explain these two influences in your life and your writing?
You are triggering me. When I visited S&M Club in France, in Paris, it looked like a factory. A lot of iron things, steel things were there. The torture instruments. No one can go inside, but my friends were there, so everything is. I told my friend that we are having this kind of things not in this manner. It is done by the, the oppressors and oppressed. And in temples, the temple priests would wear the, the needle-like chapel, and the women will be lying from their, their back will be on the up. So the temple priest will walk on them like this with the, what can I say for needle. Yeah. They will walk. A spike, yes. Spiked chapel. So this is sadism. Sadism and masochism. So in our country, most of the women are masochists and most of the men are sadists. We do it in a different, you are doing it in club, we are doing it in a different way. And Marquis de Sade. So everyone has this kind of sadism and masochism. If you go into the psyche level, psyche, sadism and masochism is there in you, in me. Or why should we watch this violent scenes in Hollywood films or now in Netflix? I also watch a lot of Game of Thrones and so many things. Break, the jail break, prison break. You watch Prison Break? Yeah. So a lot of Game of Thrones. Yeah. So we get pleasure by torturing something. So I want to. What is there in human psyche? An animal doesn't do that. A cat doesn't do that. If he feels hungry, he goes. If he wants sex, he fucks. That's all. Otherwise, nothing happens there. But we, there's more of, there are a lot of stories in newspapers. My God, in Tamil Nadu, I don't know about Bihar. Or why did I say Bihar? Yesterday, there was a road accident. 15 children were killed. What's happening? Okay, so, the pleasure getting out of torturing, violence. That's why Marquis de Sade, he was the first man. He was himself a masochist. Napoleon told him that don't write these things, but he didn't stop. He was there in jail for 30 some years, 30 plus years. He didn't stop. He was himself a masochist, and experimented a lot of sadism with his prostitutes and all. So and Andal is completely surrender, complete passion, love. And my friends and my readers always tell me that you write a beautiful Tamil. Yes, I also feel it. I take that, I am indebted to Andal for that. Beautiful Tamil.
So, Charu, I'm going to open this up. I'm sorry, my phone has died, so we'll just pass some mics around, and if any of you have questions. And then if there's time at the end, I wanted to ask you to help us understand why Tamil Nadu politics and cinema are so entwined. You know, why do they have this kind of hero worshipping of their political figures, which you don't have anywhere else in the country? But first, let me just open this up to the audience. This was just to give you a flavor of Charu's work. It's so eclectic and it's so varied, and you've seen how his mind works. It's kind of elliptically moves from things to things to things. That is really fascinating, but you have to read it to get a taste of it. But let's have some questions. Yeah, Racing.
Do you believe that originality is a myth? That nothing can be truly original?
It is an idea. It is a concept. He may be right. I can differ with him, or I can, say yes to him. Originality, yeah, no one can be original. If you read my things, you can feel the similarity in, you can find the similarity in Georges Bataille, the French guy, and Marquis de Sade, of course. Maybe. Even Gandhi is not original. He borrowed all his things from Tolstoy and Emerson and so many people. So maybe. Even Buddha is not original. He got the non-violence from Mahavir. Mahavir might have got it from some other. So original, yeah, it's a very, philosophical question, but it's true. But Shoma said a beautiful thing, hero worship in Tamil Nadu and cinema. When Jayalalitha was alive, everyone, there was huge cutouts, 50 feet cutouts, posing her as Mother Mary. And Kamal Hassan and Rajini, when their films are released, we have huge cutouts, 50 feet cutouts, and they will pour milk abhishek. Milk. And now it's a postmodern society, they pour beer. Real, Baba? No, I'm not exaggerating. So this guy is, entering into politics, Kamal and Rajini's wife is a, is a money slanderer, and Supreme Court has warned her, in 3 months you have to give back that 6.5 crores to someone. There are a lot of money cheating cases against Lata Rajinikanth, and Rajinikanth is entering into politics, and Kamal is always talking gibberish.
Sorry, Kamal is always talking gibberish.
Kamal.
Yeah,
Gibberish.
Hassan.
Oh, I told gibberish. Gibberish. Okay.
So I have an interesting question for you, Charu. Who do you respect? Who do you respect in Tamil Nadu?
My sweeper.
Your sweeper.
Sweeper. Very poor guy. Getting 7,000 rupees. He's a Mahatma. He's a Mahatma. What kind of things he is speaking? My God, I'm not romanticizing. There are a lot of people. And there is one leader, Nalla Kannu. You Google him. You Google and search. Nalla Kannu. He's a communist leader. He goes by bicycle. Even now, like Nirpendra Chakravarti or someone. He is there, but no one knows him. No one knows. No one will vote for him. We will vote for Kamal Hassan and Rajinikanth.
Okay, let's take some more questions. Yeah.
Very personal question. Okay, you please, you should read Marginal Man. I have wife. I always tell her that I don't want to live in this place, man, in this country. I want to go away. I can be a beggar in France. I want to go away, but she won't come out. So I am here because of Avantika, my wife, and 2 dogs and lot of cats. I love them. You can see a lot of cat stories, dog stories in Marginal Man.
You have to read Marginal Man just to read the dog stories, because the kind of the food hunt they go to feed the dogs, the beef is not good enough, the cheese is not good enough, the grapes are not good enough. So until they finally arrive at the perfect dog food, so that really is his God.
Last week, my Zorro, died, a Great Dane, this much, 4-5 feet high, he died. He lived for 10 years. My God, I cried like anything. My dad, my mom, everyone died. I have never cried in my life. Even my girlfriends say, Tata, pleasure, good day, good life. The reason is, we can go for another. They open up So I never cried, but this one, I got mad. My wife, she asked me, whoever you feel comfortable, I can ask them to, how can I say? I kept mum.
Okay, are there any? Okay, the bells rung, and many of you wanted to leave early today, so we'll wrap it up there. Charu, thank you very, very much. It's been wonderful to just have someone speak so fresh.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here. It's an elite club. And I want to thank Gayatri, who has, given me so much translation, a very beautiful translation. Everyone likes, because I write in a magazine in London, Art Review Asia. I asked the editor, how is the translation? Is it good or bad? He said, it's not good, it's not bad. I don't feel like it's a translation.
That's great.
Wow.
So I would urge you to buy his books. Thank you very,
Thank you
very
so
much
much
for being
Thank
here,
you so
Charu.
much. I love
Thank
you all.